another episode of the Screen Addicts podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Cinema Stativa Sosa.
And I'm your other co-host, Chris, the Indica Villegas.
Indica. Welcome back, Chris. This is going to be a very interesting episode that we have going on. And anytime we go into the realm of bizarre, we have to bring in a special co-host as well. And it's one that has actually been on the show before, but it's been a really long time since we brought in our voiceover maestro himself, Donald. Donald, how you doing, sir?
I'm well, and how are you, gentlemen?
Pretty good, pretty good. Well, basically what we are going
Stoked.
to we are stoked. I thought you said something else. Stoked. Oh dear. I'm going to go ahead and put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode that in honor of 420 coming up, we have decided to rank our favorite stoner movies, and that is in no way what is the disclaimer? We should say that this is in no way do we endorse the illegal activities of certain drug use, and for legal reasons.
Unless
of course,
you live in New Mexico or Colorado, by all means, partake.
If you have obtained said medical passage, then yes, of course you should. And this is also why our ex-co-host Jeremy is no longer allowed to be on the show. But this is also in his honor.
He got deported. It's fine.
to Colorado. He's living his best days. Well, Donald, it's been great. Well, it has not been great. We haven't seen you in 50 years. When was the last time? It was over a year now since.
Over a year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right around a year with the Wizards.
That's right. The Wizard episode. That's crazy. It almost seems like it was, I don't know, just a couple of months ago, but that's time for you. It's a fickle mistress. But as I had mentioned earlier, we are going to be definitely talking about our top 3 favorite stoner movies, and in doing so, we are going to forego any kind of headlines. I think that if we talk too much about the subject, we might be making our own headlines in not the best ways, but we'll see. But before that, we, of course, will be talking about our recently watched movies. So, Chris, take it away, sir.
All right. Not too much. Been, the reason why I missed last week. Well, the reason why I missed last week was because that episode wasn't really my specialty, so I let the specialists take care of that one for sure. And dude, by the way, it was an excellent episode. It was a fun listen. So if you haven't listened to last week's episode about wrestling and WrestleMania, definitely go give it a listen. It was great with the special guest you had on there, man.
Yes, thank you, Zach, again for coming on from his Territory Marks podcast. Much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, I mean, what do you talk about? You don't have any expertise in wrestling. I distinctly recall a particular night when we were in college when we and a group of us may or may not have been inebriated. We completely destroyed your bedroom because we were all wrestling and body slamming. So I mean, that kind of gives you.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but I do appreciate you not telling the story of the time that I watched WrestleMania with you at I think it was your cousin's house or something. And
no, it was my mom's ex-boyfriend Greg, my stepdad. That was never my stepdad.
Greg,
yeah, the Grok. Yeah, you fell asleep. Remember? Is that what you were talking about?
Yep.
How are you gonna fall asleep?
Event.
Dude, that's embarrassing. We're not even as old as we are now. We were kids. Like that is no excuse. But maybe that was for the best. But I'm glad you brought it up this week.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I've been watching, Shogun, I have just loved every damn minute of that show. If you have not started it, FX on Hulu, you can get caught up. I think it's coming to an end soon. I think this week and next week are the last 2 episodes, and it's getting there, man. It's building to something really, really good. And I think after this episode, the new one dropped this week tonight, so I'll be watching that tonight. So good, staying up late. And then I watched all because of Cinema Steve, and his stories about watching some shitty 80s movies.
The best movies ever made, you mean?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't know about that, man.
That was kind of rude.
Went on Tubi and watched us a good old martial law.
Yes.
Why? Why do I listen? Why do I let you influence me, sir?
I was about to say, I didn't tell you to watch it. I just like to share what I'm watching. And if it's on you to partake, I mean, that's all on you. But I mean, come on. That movie is exactly what you want it to be. Cynthia Rothrock, dude. She's so good. I'm shocked she never had a career. I mean, it just something bigger. I mean, she was really good. I mean, I don't know. Depending on who you ask.
and then I was like, oh yeah, David Carradine, that's badass. And then David Carradine is like the worst bad guy ever.
Like, in that movie.
Oh, it was so bad. Takes down and they use a blood sport terminology, the Dimmak, when they hit him in the chest and he dies.
That's what I'm talking about. And you didn't like this? I'm really confused. I don't understand.
I'm lost, Chris. You got to help me out here, man.
Oh my god! Have you watched it, Donald? Have you seen Martial Law?
Yes. Come on.
I mean,
I love B movies and 80s and 90s. Oh god, I'm in.
Oh,
all day long.
This is why you and Steven were such good friends in college. I forget.
Yeah. I mean, I could like randomly throw something to Donald on Tubi and he'd be like, yep, I've got it. I was like, yes, I'm in. But, I mean, so is that the only thing you watched on Tubi, or did you venture on to more? I mean, you didn't get wrapped up like I did you?
I mean, I got kind of wrapped up because I got halfway through Martial Law 2.
Yes!
And then I'm like, my brain is fried. I'm done. I'm out of here.
So good.
So, I don't know. But, okay, Martial Law 2, I will have to say the beginning scene where she goes and she's kicking everybody's ass in an apron because she's the mom grilling out in the park. I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad.
That's a Wonder Woman right there.
So bad. But man, that's about it, man. Those couple of things, and been busy, but Shogun. Just watch Shogun. Way better than Martial Law.
I mean, I guess if you want quality substance and anything else in your programming.
But yeah, that's it for me.
So that's it. Okay, well, I'll go next. I actually, much like Chris, I watched even more on Tubi. I don't know what happened. One day, I just ended up watching like 4 movies from the 90s. Martial Law was one of them. Mission of Justice, Avenging Force. It was just getting out of control. But I don't know. Those movies are exactly what you want them to be. They're cheap. Oh, Angel Town. That was another one. Another martial arts movie. And that one, this wannabe Van Damme French martial artist is fighting these Mexican gangs in Los Angeles. I mean, granted, I was kind of rooting for the gangs, but instead of the fake Van Damme. But it is what it is. It was fun 80s, 90s cheese. But other than that, I watched a couple of other movies. Watched the new Ghostbusters movie. I just realized that we haven't really had a discussion or had an opportunity to talk about some of the movies that I've watched in the last 2 weeks. And Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, it was fine. I thought that it was I mean, if you like the last Ghostbusters movie, you'll like this one too. It's just a little bit more of the same. I mean, would I recommend it? I guess if you like Ghostbusters. I also watched.
Is it a wait till streaming?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't. It's not one that, oh my god, you've got to see it, because it really seems like a lot of the best stuff took place in the trailers. Like you see Slimer coming back, plays no significant part in the movie, just kind of, ooh, Slimer's back, so that's kind of cool. But other than that, it really didn't. It didn't really light the world on fire. Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. Both of these movies had the word Empire in it. I was kind of confused. I was like, was one of them called Frozen Empire and the other one the New Empire? I don't know. But Godzilla X Kong, Dude, that movie was fun. I really enjoyed it. It's exactly what you want it to be. It's just monster on monster mayhem. And I mean, you want to go and see a movie with monsters kicking the shit out of each other? Well, that's exactly what this one does. And it's a little goofy, but who cares? It's a giant monkey fighting a giant lizard.
It's Godzilla. If it's not goofy, it's not right.
Right. Unless it's like -1 where it made me cry like 3 damn times. I was like, this movie's so good. This is so beautiful. And then there's Godzilla X Kong, which I did a review about, and I made a joke like, what the hell does the X mean? And I'm glad that you guys are here to maybe you could explain it to me. But the marketing team decided for some odd reason that they were going to call this one Godzilla X Kong. And I'm thinking, is that supposed to be a cool way of showing the and symbol or something? Because I'm like, Godzilla times Kong? Does that mean that there's going to be duplicates of these guys? Which
or
they're kind
babies. Kong Godzilla babies.
Godzilla XY Kong. They're going to bang in this one.
That's Godzilla what it was. Triple X Kong.
Yeah. I've seen that one twice. Way better than Martial Law.
It's the greatest love story ever told. Well, this has gotten disgusting in a good way. But
I don't know. I've seen some shows use the X in place of like verses.
Right.
So I don't know what they were going for.
But I guess the last one was literally called Godzilla versus Kong, so they couldn't really do that again. And what was it? Batman v Superman? The versus was just a V, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. Aside from that, it was still good. Saw Monkey Man. Monkey Man was good. Dev Patel's directorial debut, which is kind of like I guess you could say a Hindi John Wick, but I wouldn't say it's a John Wick type of movie. It's very stylized in its action and violence, but I think it's more about the Hanuman story within the Hindi culture and how it pertains to his situation where he's trying to infiltrate this gang. It was really good. Dev Patel, man. I never realized that dude could get so buff, but
yeah, I didn't clock him as an action star.
No, and he's fully believable in this movie too. So it was pretty good. Pretty good movie. Watched Alex Garland's new one, The Civil War, or just Civil War. Sorry. It was pretty good. It didn't really. I think that it would have been better if it was a limited series rather than a movie. I think that there's a bigger story to tell there, but I don't know. There was a lot of things where it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't really explain the situation. It just kind of takes you right in the middle of the war as it is, and doesn't really explain the motivations of the alliances. But I guess that might be the point. I guess war in itself is that's kind of the message that it's sending. But
I've seen some reviews on it that people were pissed that they didn't follow the storyline for Captain America and Iron Man very well.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, that was pretty upsetting.
Yeah, they got a little off book there, didn't they?
They're like, where the fuck is Buck? It was terrible.
I thought Spider-Man had a cameo in this.
I know somebody lied to me. First they run out of our popcorn buckets, and now this. Chris, I'm trying to be serious about these reviews, man.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I can't breathe. Is it hot in here? I think it's like hot in this little movie room that I'm in. But yeah, aside from that, it was still a good movie. There were some scenes in it that were really tense, though. I was like, oh, this is definitely effective in the sense of what they were trying to say. But Kirsten Dunst, man, she was really good. She's been good in a lot of stuff lately as far as acting. I mean, nothing will top her role in Bring It On, but that's just my personal taste, I guess. And let's see. I also watched Lisa Frankenstein. That was good. Diablo Cody she wrote it by herself, I think. But it was actually directed by Robin Williams' daughter, Zelda Williams. It's her directorial debut. That's a movie that's going to be a cult classic in like 10 years. You watch it and it's very, I don't know, very stylistic, very gruesome, kind of campy, funny, gory, like a Raimi movie, but it was pretty good. Let's see what else I got in this list here. Oh, dude, there's a movie on Hulu. It's called Dinner in America. Kyle Gallner, Emily Skeggs, so good. It's like Heathers meets Napoleon Dynamite, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's this punk rocker named Kyle Gallner meets this girl. She's very weird and quirky. You're like, something wrong with this poor girl. Doesn't matter. She's seems sweet enough. And then they just kind of blossom into this romance. And dude, it's so funny and it's so graphic and like profane. And I don't know. I absolutely loved it. I actually bought the Blu-ray. I sought out the Blu-ray because
wow.
Yeah, man, that's when you know a movie's really good, is if I'm buying the hard copy of it.
I was about to say, you go try to find that hard copy, especially since you can't buy them at Best Buy. No.
That's true. Stupid Best Buy bastards. But I also wanted to watch special features on it too, and that's really the only way that you can do it. But yeah, Dinner in America on Hulu, highly recommend it. I will probably save the rest of those. Oh, thanks to our good friend Peter, he recommended this documentary called RoboDoc, the making of RoboCop, which is currently on Prime. It's a 4-part series, and I thought it was like one movie, like 2 hours. There's like four 1 hour long episodes. It's like, damn, this is pretty good. And finished Invincible.
Ooh,
I'm not gonna say anything, Chris, because I know you haven't finished it yet. But
yeah.
Oh man, I made the mistake of binging the last 3 episodes because I was behind, and I completely forgot that they only do 8. So when I finished 8, it was on a Thursday, right? So I thought, ooh, tomorrow another episode will be out. I go to log into Prime, no new episode, and I'm like, wait a second, that's right, 8 was the finale. I already watched the damn finale. This is horrible. This is a terrible thing that has happened in my life. I mean, I can't think of too many other tragedies in the world than the fact that I didn't get one more Invincible episode, but you know how it goes. And dude, that show is just, it's so good. It's great just as a series, regardless of it being animated or not. I mean, most animation films and TV shows they're better than anything else going on, but oh my God, I couldn't recommend that show more than that.
I read today too that they got greenlit for season 4 and 5.
Oh yeah, because they didn't really like rush season 3, but they went right into production after 2, and I think that COVID held up the production of the last season or something like that. I don't know, but it was gone for like 2 years, man.
Yeah.
So but yeah, that's all I had to watch this last week. Donald, what about you, man?
Last night I watched Ender's Game. It's on Netflix now. Pretty good overall. I mean, Ben Kingsley and Harrison Ford kind of, they don't do a lot wrong. It's a rough story, man, what they put those kids through, but great sci-fi if you're into that kind of stuff. Been watching a lot of anime with the kids. My 2 oldest, they're teenagers. Everything's anime, so we're watching like My Hero Academia and Hunter x Hunter, and we've been watching there's this one on Netflix called Delicious in the Dungeon that is hysterical. Oh my God. Yeah, highly recommend that to anyone that's into anime. Been watching Warrior. I don't know how I never heard about it before, but like it popped up as recommended, and I was like, where did I miss this martial arts Western inspired by Bruce Lee? Where has this been my life?
This is why I know you haven't listened to the damn show, because I've been talking about that shit for a long time now.
Busted. Okay, I catch an episode here and there. I'm a busy guy. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Chris, he's gonna.
I've shamed my family.
The Pod Clan.
The Pod Clan. Don't forsake me, Pod Clan.
But it's so damn good, right, man?
It's so good. Oh my God. And when they do the mural of him with the nunchucks.
Yes.
Yeah. No, all over. Great show. Production value is just insane. Like, it looks so good. Really haven't been watching a whole lot else. Life's been hectic, dude. 4 kids, full-time job, side gig, like there's just no time.
I feel you, brother.
I think with that, the common occurrence here is that we all work too damn much.
Right.
For sure.
We just need to go out to like Tahiti or something and just do nothing. I mean, we can watch and record while we're there, of course, Chris. You know, we're not taking any breaks now.
No,
but
never.
Yeah, no breaks.
But a break from everything else, man. That's just crazy. So,
But
you know,
I think collectively between all three of us, we have like 8 jobs.
Yeah, working 100 hours a week.
Yeah,
yeah, at least
200 hours. I had a question about Warrior because out of the three of us, I still haven't watched it, and I know Chris, but
kick your ass off.
I
watched the shit that you recommend. How come you don't ever watch?
I didn't recommend martial law to you, damn it.
I'm sorry, Steve. You're out. This is mine and Chris's show now.
That's fine. I have too many else. I need to catch up on Shogun, to be honest with you. I've only watched the first 3. I guess all 8 are out now, Chris, or
there's 6 out, 7 dropped tonight, 8 will be
so yeah, I'm
week.
behind like 4 episodes on that. But my dad even is watching Warrior. My own dad, he was telling me about it because he's hooked on Max. Like that, the guy.
He must
I don't know
listen to the podcast.
He must have.
Yeah.
But I think that the elder statesman, he will find one streaming service and just stay on it. And he it's almost like he has some kind of weird sense of loyalty towards it because he won't watch anything else. I was like, did you watch this one movie? It was pretty good on Netflix. He's like, no. Was it on Max? Then no, I didn't watch it. I'm like, all right, take it easy, Warner Brothers. Shit. I didn't know that you were. I'll try to just recommend, but man, he's like cleared out Max. Pretty soon he's gonna have to go to see something else. He's like, he's watched The Sopranos, he's watched The Wire, he's watched Oz, he's watching all of them. And
there's a lot of good stuff on Max.
I mean, there really is. It's just like in any kind of streaming service, it's all so competitive because everybody wants to have the best property on there. Aside from Peacock, man, if I didn't love wrestling so much, I look at Peacock's catalog and I'm just thinking, oh, I don't think that there's really much here to draw from. But I think it's also just a lack of selection on Peacock. I mean, they're kind of expanding the catalog, but man, in comparison to what Max or Netflix or Prime can offer, even Hulu.
Prime, yeah. That's the other thing I've been watching. I don't know how I spaced this, but Fallout.
Yeah.
One of my favorite video game series, and man, that show is good.
Yeah, that's the common occurrence. I have not heard one negative thing about it. I haven't started it yet.
Don't worry. If we recommend it to Steven, he won't watch it.
That's not true. No. It's in the damn queue.
You know, there's some fanboys out there that are trying to hate on parts of it, but I mean, like, come on, dude. It's an adaptation from a video game. It's not going to be 100%. They're going to change a little bit of lore here and there, but for the most part, you could not ask for a better representation in a live action show based off a video game.
I mean, that's an inevitability you can't defeat. I mean, people were always going to be nitpicky and complain about something, especially something like Fallout. You know, when it's already had its own fan base, it's difficult to sell them. But like I said, I know people that are they worship the game, but thought the show was really well done. I mean, kind of like you. I mean, you played the game too, right? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
And you
played all of the games.
Damn. And I guess that this season is an adaptation of what, the first game, or is it a collection of the games?
It's kind of its own story.
Okay.
It just is a whole new thing. It really not based on any of the games, but I mean, spoiler alert, the last scene really sets up tying into one of the games.
Okay.
Like the very last scene, like I texted my buddy Matt, I was like, "Was that?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude, watch the credits and it'll pop the sign up. That is exactly what you think it is."
Nice. Did you watch all that, Chris? Fallout?
I'm like 2 or 3 episodes in. I haven't watched it.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I don't have a lot to go. I'm not a big gamer, so I've never played any of the game, but the show is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So
it's great. And like any good RPG, the best parts are happening while they're off on some side quest and they've completely forgotten about the main mission. They're just off doing something else. And you're like, this is great. This is just like playing a game.
Well, I mean, they've got Walton Goggins. That's the cheat code right there, man. Anytime that guy is in anything, it's going to be good. If it's a comedy, a drama, a horror. I mean, anything that guy touches lately has just been great. And I definitely will start that one. Warrior, I might get around to it.
I'm gonna slap you.
I did start Winona Earp. That's pretty good.
Hey, guess what? Bet you still haven't started Enola Holmes either, have you?
Oh, damn it! That
Bitch.
I need to tell Sonny to make a note of Enola Holmes. And anyway,
No.
but no, there's 2 of those, aren't there?
Yes.
Oh shit! I was like, I added them to my queue, and then whenever you add something to your queue, it always make your recommendations. And I saw 2, and I was like, oh my god! I completely forgot that they made a sequel to that movie. Is Henry Cavill in the sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll watch that one too.
Yeah,
not that I'm like
liar.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I haven't seen them.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. Me and Donald are too busy watching.
But I haven't recommended it to Donald yet specifically.
Oh, okay.
Specifically.
I mean, I don't know. Is it good though? I mean, it's good, right?
It is good.
Okay. It's better than that damsel in distress one or whatever it was, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I heard that one wasn't very good. I mean, you even said that it was okay. It wasn't great.
It's a good one watch, but that's
I got you. All right. Well, this week I will make an effort to watch the trailer of Enola Holmes. You know what, Chris? We need to do this thing because me and Chris, we were having this discussion about whenever we make our rankings, when we're going down our rankings of whatever topic we're talking about, we typically watch. Oh, I don't know. I'll watch at least 1 or 2 off of Chris's list just because, oh man, I haven't thought of that movie in a long time or something like that. So I'm gonna make an effort to watch. You know what? I could get Sonya to watch that one. She likes 11, so I think that we can.
Millie Bobby Brown.
We watch too many things, man, and she falls asleep. I might have to watch it by myself. Oh, you know what else that reminds me of? I did watch on Netflix Stowaway. I could have watched Enola Holmes, but I didn't. I watched Stowaway, that one with Toni Collette and Anna Kendrick, where they go into that secret space. Well, it's not a secret; it's a space mission. And when they're up in the air, one of the engineers accidentally passed out in the control room or something where they didn't see him. So they're like light years away from home. And, the rations and everything have been accounted for 3 people. And of course, he's the 4th one. So then they're kind of into this weird moral situation where they're like, what are we going to do? Because we cannot survive 3 portions for 4 people. So it becomes this kind of weird, like, are we gonna kill him? Kind of. It was actually pretty good. It was better than Spaceman with Sandler. I don't know. That was some experimental stuff, which I thought was okay, but man, it didn't really like lead to anything. But
the next movie is gonna be called Society in Space,
dude. Right. So you think they're gonna eat him? I don't know. I'm not gonna give any spoilers away, but Stowaway was good.
Him.
All right, so Enola Holmes on the list. All right, Donald, so do you have anything else you'd like to share that you've been watching?
No, I think that pretty much rounds it out.
I like how we just took over Donald's recently watched. My bad, Donald.
It's funny because like it'll pop up in my head. Like I still try to make notes of everything that I've watched throughout the week and look on my cheat sheet here, but I mean it never fails. I'm like, oh damn it, I forgot to write down this one. So but it happens.
Because you're always watching something.
I know. It's just how it goes, especially with work. Like, I work remote, work home, and I have a dual monitor. Like, that other monitor isn't for work. It's to stream shit. So it's just like, no matter what my boss got it for me. But that's just how it goes. So, all right. Well, I guess that's going to round out our recently watched segment. I didn't have any headlines. There was one headline that I couldn't remember if we talked about, Chris. It was, the passing of Louis Gossett Jr. Did we talk about that?
We did not.
We didn't. I didn't think so. Yeah, and I figured that would really bum you because Iron Eagle. It's a classic.
Oh, yeah.
Classic 100. Movie. But yeah, Louis Gossett Jr. passed away, and that's quite a significant loss, man. I mean, the guy had an amazing career. I personally wanted to give a shout out to his performance in Diggstown. I think Diggstown. Ooh. It was even when we had Matt on the show when we were talking about boxing movies. I mean, Diggstown was easily in my top 3. I love that movie. Mm-hmm. James Woods is actually like the hero of the story, but he's still slimy, sneaky James Woods. And then Louis Gossett Jr. just has to box 10 guys to win a bet. It's so good. You remember Diggstown, right, Donald?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie. What's your favorite Louis Gossett Jr. movie, Chris? Other than Iron Eagle?
Oh, other than Iron Eagle?
I guess that's
Iron
really
Eagle.
Iron Eagle 2? Aces, Iron Eagle 3.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. I was thinking Officer and a Gentleman, but then when I put you on the spot, I thought, well, damn, how many other Louis Gossett movies have we seen?
Besides Diggstown and Iron Eagle, it's kind of slim pickings.
You know, I will say though that he had a small, almost cameo role in the Watchmen series on HBO, and oh my
yeah,
God, it was good. He was so good in that. I was like, man, where is Gossett Jr.? I mean, I guess I know where he's been. He's just old and kind of, living his days out. But yeah, that was really the only headline that I had.
What about Enemy Mine?
Oh, with Dennis Quaid.
Sci-fi.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one.
I'll tell you, that movie fucking scarred me as a kid. I was scared.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I was
weird,
really scared of that movie.
That weird,
all that prosthetics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's so. He would just be CGI'd today. I'm surprised they haven't remade that movie. But man, Enemy Mine was a really good movie. Oh my God, I haven't thought about that. Dennis Quaid. Oh, see,
great book.
That's one that I'm gonna go rewatch.
I was about to say next week Steven will be like, I watched Enemy Mine
and Iron Eagle 2 on Tubi,
but not Enola Holmes.
But not Enola Holmes.
Enola Holmes.
Damn you.
I probably should watch Enola Holmes. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just say it right now. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna watch it 100%. God, I gotta have to figure out a time to watch it. But yeah, I guess other than that, I think that was. Do you have any other headlines that you wanted to share, or any kind of news that you heard?
The only thing that I would share, and I think because it sounds really badass, is that it was announced that we're gonna get an R-rated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
The Last Ronin.
The Last Ronin.
Holy shit! Like,
oh man,
how though? Is it animated or is it live action?
It said live action.
Oh my God! So it's gonna be like Eastman and Laird's old stuff, because they're old comics, man. They were pretty hard before they adapted it into the kids formula that they did. But oh my God, who's distributing that? It's not like one of those Blood and Honey type of things, is it?
I don't think so. I think it was announced by Paramount. Actually.
Oh wow, okay.
So,
well, yeah, they did Mutant Mayhem. I mean, they own the property rights to it now, but wow, that's going to be incredible. And I guess they're kind of like understanding that, there's a whole generation of Teenage Mutant Ninja fans that are over the age of 40 that might want some more mature content. But
well, yeah, and you look at like the success of Deadpool and Logan. I mean, they've proven that R-rated comic movies can succeed and do well.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, it's gonna be massive. Like, that movie is gonna be so good. And I mean, I don't know if
I'm really looking forward to the popcorn buckets.
Did you see those, Chris? Oh my God, brilliant! The marketing team of Deadpool, they just must have the best job ever to think of that kind of shit. But oh my God, having their mouths, that is just.
Why did I instantly think of you when I saw that, Steven?
Because he's going to have a collection of them.
I don't know, Chris, but you're welcome. I don't know where to take that. But man, I saw the funniest thing where it was like, I should share it on Screen Addicts. I probably will, but I saw this thing where it's like, man, good thing 7 didn't come out today, because the popcorn box bucket for that would have been terrible.
Oh shit.
I was like, yeah, I'd buy it. I was like, damn. It's what's in the box? Popcorn, you idiot.
Put your hand in it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like, what do you think is in there? But man, yeah. Back to the Turtles though. That's gonna be good. But there's no release date, or they just announced that.
They just announced that it's gonna happen. So I mean, I'm sure we still have a long time to wait for it.
Oh yeah, it'll probably be a couple years.
Yeah.
man, when you watch a movie like that, it's going to feel surreal, as if you're kind of in a state of inebriation that you can't really understand. Something where you kind of feel like, oh man, am I seeing things right? Is this a fever dream? Did I particularly partake into something? But
you just keep going, like, just
what's in those brownies, man?
I can't, Chris. Stop me, man. Stop me. That's your job. If I keep going and you're not stopping me, that's on you, buddy. Basically, I was trying to take a really horrendous segue into the main topic, which, again, as we mentioned, 420 is this upcoming weekend. And if you do partake, that's your business. None of ours, as, because we're not trying to link ourselves to any illegal activity. But
the Screen Addicts do not condone the use of illegal drugs.
That's why we brought Donald on here for that voiceover disclaimer. I'm actually going to put that at the beginning of the episode. That's going to be hilarious. But we are going to be ranking our top 3 favorite stoner movies and TV shows. Chris, you had a really good point of saying, hey, there's some television shows that do count for this, and I happen to agree. Yeah. So with that being said, Chris, you want to kick us off with your number 3?
My number 3 is a work of art. It came out in 2001, starring Redman and Method Man in the movie How High.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, man.
Starting off with a bang, brother.
The Shawshank Redemption of weed movies. What a classy pick, Chris.
Hey, man.
Oh, Donald's over there. Oh, never mind.
You're not joking. You're not joking.
Oh, man, but shit.
I'm not editing anything. So number 3, how high, Chris?
I'm very high.
Yeah,
as
apparently.
You can tell we're all just laughing, so
I am high on life, listeners, for the record.
I live in New Mexico. It's fine.
Weren't they supposed to make a How High 2? Or did they make one? Oh, God. See, that's the thing. I just forgot.
It's still in your queue.
It's right next to Enola.
Yeah.
Enola and Redman. Shit, that's what's missing from the Enola Holmes movie is METHOD, man. Put him in Enola Holmes.
God.
But anyway, Mike Epps is also in this movie, so it's, that just elevates it even more. I don't know, it's just dumb weed comedy, man, and they smoke one of their friends, and it's it's great.
Is that the one where they dig up like John Adams or one of the founding fathers and they smoke him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God, it has been forever since I've seen that freaking movie.
Donald's going to watch it this weekend.
Putting that on the list right above Enola Holmes.
Yes. What are you talking about? Nobody's watching that shit. Man, that's pretty... I meant Enola Holmes, not How High, by the way.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's why it's number 3, man. It's a fun watch. I haven't seen it in forever, but
yeah, it's
a memorable one. And they have their little token Asian man in there too that tries to be gangster. And I'm like, my favorite line from that whole movie is when he comes out with his clothing line, Boo-Foo. And they're like, what the hell is Boo-Foo? He's like, yeah, it's like Fubu, but backwards. It's buy us, fuck you.
Dude, I totally forgot. That's what that meant when you sent that to us. I was like, I think Chris messed it up. It's Fubu. What is he talking about? That makes perfect sense now. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen How High in forever. Dude. When was that? Was that 2001? I mean,
it came out in 2001.
Oh my God. That is crazy that movie's 23 years old. That's bizarre. But
it's crazy that we graduated 23 years.
Yeah, that is even crazier.
Yeah.
All right. So any more thoughts on How High?
No, just buy us, fuck you. It's fine.
Sounds good. Boy, this if any episode we've ever had needed that explicit tag, it's definitely going to be this one.
It's going to be this one.
It is
100%.
going to be. Anytime Donald is on, we can pretty much guarantee the
go
hard
ahead
R.
and slap an E on there.
Let me take that
Explicit
Chuck E.
rating.
Cheese sponsorship off this episode. But
get a parental advisory sticker.
You got to be super high to go into Chuck E. Cheese. Can't deal with them fucking kids, man.
Like Willy's Wonderland. But all right, Donald. So, what's your number 3 pick?
Man, I'm busting out the Wayback Machine for this one. We're going back to 1969. Easy Rider. Fantastic movie, killer soundtrack. Like, if you just, the soundtrack alone should be its own stoner thing. Really big in like the counterculture hippie feel of everything. And there's they said Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda, when they were working out the script, that like they just kind of had a skeleton and were kind of improvising and making it up as they were going. And they would hire hippies at communes across the country to like run the cameras and be extras. And like, it was a really like first of its kind of film where like it wasn't completely professionally made and like it was just kind of out there. There's a great scene where they're at a campfire, and it's Jack Nicholson's character. It's a very young Jack Nicholson is smoking a joint for the first time, and rumor is that there were no props. The cast and crew were getting high for that scene. And reportedly Jack has said, as an actor, a lot of times you have to be sober and act inebriated, but for that scene, I was doing it in reverse.
Yeah. And it showed.
But he picked up an Oscar nod for Best Supporting Actor in that role. Sure. And it's because he was high.
Right. They're like, you were so believable, Jack. Impressive. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. That means a lot to me.
Man, I haven't seen Easy Rider in a really long time. But yeah, I agree. Like, I hear the when I'm thinking about the movie, I can hear it too. Just the way that the soundtrack just kind of so identifies.
Yeah, and I mean, like, those guys were... Peter Fonda is such a strong legacy. Dennis Hopper's an absolute icon. And the villain in one of your favorite movies, Speed. Come on. And Jack Nicholson, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him. He's done a little bit here and there.
Does he play golf?
I think so. That's probably where you recognize him from. Yeah. That's got to be it.
When I was a little kid, that actually confused me. I was like, the Joker plays professional golf too? I was like, what?
Like, where does he get those wonderful clubs?
And my dad's like, no, you idiot. It's Nicholas. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh man, that's good. That's good shit. But so okay. Well, my number 3 is actually a television series that I just watched this last week, which is The Gentleman, which is the film adaptation of Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman movie. Now, The Gentleman show is its own thing. It's got its own story. But basically, it's about a duke who inherits his father's estate because his father passed away. And whenever he does so, he comes to find out that his father was running an underground marijuana facility. And it's actually the best cannabis within, I don't know, 100 kilometers or whatever they're ranking their mileage over there. But becomes a power struggle for who's going to sell the business, who he's going to sell it to, who he's trying to compete it with. And basically they talk about all these kind of chemical components that make up their stuff. So it gets pretty in detail with cannabis in itself. And I thought, man, you would think that, okay, this rich estate would be selling stuff, but I mean, they're in the billions of dollars in terms of sales, because they also sell to pharmaceutical companies. And I mean, it's just a really in-depth story. Have y'all seen The Gentleman yet?
Nope.
Damn it.
No, I think I caught a trailer at one point, and I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting," but I haven't had time.
Aside from the story, like it brings it back to Guy Ritchie's older stuff, like Lock, Stock, and Snatch. Like you've got very bizarre characters, a lot of pikey gypsy gangsters, and just
You like
very
Dags?
digs. I mean, and it's just so good. I was just so into this show, and I'm not a binger, but this one I kind of binged through it. I was just consuming as much as I could, but I thought, ooh, that's perfect to not only talk about as a recently watched, but also for my number 3 pick. Or not really sure what we're calling this episode yet, but we'll figure it out. So my number 2, I'll just round us back through. Number 2 is Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh, Jesus.
I love it. I mean, you could basically say all of the Harold and Kumar movies because there's no shortage of supply and demand in those movies. But, like Guantanamo Bay was okay. The Christmas one was kind of funny, but nothing like White Castle, man. White Castle was hilarious. They'd get blitzed. I mean, that's the whole movie is them so stoned that they have to go and get something to eat. And the only thing that will satisfy that craving is White Castle. And I'm going to let you guys know that when I was living up in New Jersey, I went to the White Castle that they filmed at. It was closed down, so I had to go to another one and further down the road, which was already annoying. Dude, that White Castle tastes like crap. I'm not trying to offend.
I hate it.
I'm not trying to offend White Castle if they're.
I am. Fuck you, White Castle. Learn how to make burgers, bitch.
Well, I mean, you're from Texas. Whataburger is the standard, and it's hard to reach,
especially with fast food. I mean, Chris and his culinary expertise. I mean, I get it. Like, but oh my god, it was disgusting. I said, this is horrible. Oh, excuse me. We just lost the White Castle sponsorship. But you know what?
Oh,
I'm okay with it because that's
need it.
It's disgusting. But the whole thing with that movie, it's just so goofy, so funny. And I rewatched it with my son because he hadn't seen it. We watched it a couple months ago, and he was like shocked at some of the language and offensive humor. I mean, not that he was like, oh, I can't believe it. Like, he wasn't offended, but he was like, I can't believe they said that in this. I'm like, dude, this was the Wild West, bro. Like, they said anything and everything. We just didn't get offended by all that stuff. And but man, it's just so funny. And like I said, the sequels are okay. But my number 2 pick is Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. So I guess we're going to zip it back around to you, Donald, for your number 2.
Yeah. How about 1993's Dazed and Confused, which, I mean, it's the last day of school, summer's letting out, 1976, everyone's partying, smoking, drinking. Great movie. Can't recommend it enough. Another one with killer soundtrack.
Yeah.
They spent, God, like a sixth of the total movie budget getting the rights to all of those songs. Because, I mean, they were all hits.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
And the cars, too.
Oh, God, like, the cars are so amazing. Like that truck.
Yeah.
Dude. Spectacular ensemble cast. You got Matthew McConaughey, who's just jaw-droppingly good. He's one of my favorite actors. And correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but I think that was his first movie.
Number 1.
Yeah, which is crazy because everyone associates him with All Right, All Right, All Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from that movie. That's his first movie, and that became like his tagline.
Right.
Who else? Joey Lauren Adams, big 90s actress, Chasing Amy, Biodome, Mallrats. Mila Jovovich, that
was her first movie.
And she is still literally kicking butt to this day. Like, became a great action star. Ben Affleck, another guy you probably haven't heard of. Parker Posey, who was like the 90s queen. She was in everything.
Oh, yeah.
Indie queen.
Yeah, indie queen for sure. Adam Goldberg, who went on to do like A Beautiful Mind with Anthony Rapp, who was also in Dazed and Confused. Yeah, if you haven't seen Dazed and Confused, go watch it. I was doing the math. It hurts my brain a little bit. So it came out in 93 and was set in 76. That's only a 17-year span. If a movie equivalent came out today, it would be set in 2007.
Stop.
Oh shit!
Chris,
Now you
cut it.
feel old, don't you?
Got it. We're
Yeah,
done.
go ahead and edit that. We're geriatrics.
Edit that shit out. Edit this out.
I'm
Right
sorry,
now.
I couldn't hear what you said because I'm so damn old. Did you say 2007? Oh my god, that is.
Yeah, that would be the equivalent. That
I still have
hurts
this mental block where I
my
think
hip.
like
It
the
hurts my hip.
90s was just 10 years ago.
Right? Yeah, I'm like, last decade, the 90s.
They're like,
no,
"Well,
Grandpa,
try
not quite.
again. Try again, cocoon."
Cocoon.
But man, to be honest with you, Daisy Confused, because the guests always have full reign, full autonomy of the pick. That would probably be my number one. I just love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, it's
Richard
so
Linklater.
good.
I mean, I know he gets a lot of credit for Slacker being his first movie, which it is, but Dazed and Confused put him on the map. That's the one that allowed him to cultivate the career that he's had. And did you ever see Everybody Wants Some? It came out, I think like 2000 and I don't know the year, 14, 15. And it's basically like a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, except it's set in the 80s. And you've got Glenn Powell, who's blown up because of Maverick and Anyone But You. And it has Tyler Hoechlin, who played Superman and Lois. And they're a baseball team in Austin. They're at this college. But yeah, they just like to get blitzed and blaze up. And it's basically Dazed and Confused, but in the 80s. It's a really good movie, though. It feels very much like that. So if you obviously like Dazed and Confused, you should check out Everybody Wants Them. It's so good. Linklater at his finest, But all right. So Chris, you're number 2, sir.
All right, my number 2 is going along the lines with you guys. To me, has an awesome soundtrack as well. Chris Tucker, Ice Cube, and Friday.
Oh, Friday. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very hard not to put that in my top 3, but I was like, I can't take all the good movies.
I know.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Man, also probably one of the most quotable movies ever of all time.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that still lives on. And this movie came out in '95, and there's kids still use that.
Yeah, it's a couple of years ago. Damn it! Next year's 30 on that one. That's insane, man. I'm gonna have a party for Friday for sure.
Ooh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna make?
I don't know. Make a cake. It's like Big Perm or something. I don't know.
You should do peppermint sticks that look like little rolled joints. It'd be
or,
great.
Or real rolled joints
that look like peppermint sticks.
Yeah, there you go.
If we're gonna make Big Perm his curls, put it in some curlers. Oh my god, I love Friday, man. And next Friday was good, but Friday after next, I was like, all right, this is capping it off. Like that, we're done here. Next Friday, I thought was really good. And you said mentioned Mike Epps for How High. I was like, oh, that's just Day Day. He's Day Day and everything, and no matter what he does. But it was funny. I guess you had it was really difficult for him to do next Friday, I'm sure, because he's trying to fill the shoes of Chris Tucker. I mean, Smokey in Friday is one of the most iconic comedic characters of all time. I mean, it made Chris Tucker who he was, and he's just so funny in that movie. He's so good, and I don't know. I could watch that movie anytime. There seems to be this what's the word I'm looking for? Repetition of single day type of movies, because Dazed and Confused, Friday just takes place in one day, minimal settings, and I don't know, maybe stoner movies work better
because when you're high, time slows down.
Right, you don't want to go anywhere.
Time is a flat circle.
Exactly. But man, I love Friday. I could watch that movie. Johnny Witherspoon. I mean, I saw this. I saw this portrait. It was like somebody painted a portrait of him when he's like spraying the air spray in the bathroom while he's taking his shit, and it's like a perfectly painted mural. And I was like, oh my god, I've got to get that, put it in the bathroom or something. It's just a work of art, much like that movie. And F. Gary Gray, the director, I mean, my God, if you just look up that man's filmography and everything that he's directed since then, it would blow your mind away. You're like, I cannot believe the director of Friday went on to direct all of these movies. Like, it's super impressive, the career that he was able to cultivate for himself. But yeah, that's a solid pick, man.
And dude, and then Tiny Lister's Debo.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like I said, one of the most quotable movies ever. I think for the longest time, my mom just talked to me in Friday quotes.
Mm-hmm.
And she still does. What am I talking about?
She's like, every time I'm in the kitchen, you're in the kitchen.
Eating all the hog.
You don't think I like pig's feet? Dude, Witherspoon steals that movie, man. I think he's so funny in that movie. I'm gonna go watch Friday when we're done.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the problem too, Chris. Like, I can't watch anything new because I'm watching the same shit that I've been watching for nearly 30 years over and over again.
My wife gets on to me about that. Charles, she'll be like, you've seen Big Trouble in Little China 25,000 times. I'm like, yeah, but
and that is
right there, so I'm going to watch it again.
Yes.
It has the Pork Chop Express. What do you expect me to do? Jack Burton needs my help, damn it.
Damn it.
Oh, man. All right, well, I guess before our number ones, do y'all have any honorable mentions you'd like to share?
It's not really a stoner film per se, but it definitely has the vibe, would be Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
There's no actual drug use in the film. They kept it very family friendly, but you look at those guys and you're like, they're stoners. Come on.
Those robot Bill and Ted weren't even real. We're just in their mind. Well, even like my hat's namesake, Wayne's World, those guys had that kind of persona as well. Very laid back, groovy kind of individuals that they're partaking. We just didn't see that. It was in the deleted scenes, but I could definitely see that as well. Yeah, there's a lot of movies like that I don't know. I can't remember what you said were your number one, so I'm not going to say anything until after we're done. But Chris, I do remember Chris's number one, but I'll remember yours. So we'll go ahead and do our number ones, and if y'all think of any more after that.
Okay, here's the honorable mention. I'm pretty sure this isn't on any of ours. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, Spicoli. Oh, yes, of course,
sure.
Of course.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't think anyone has the
Nobody
dude.
has this shitty Pineapple Express.
Hey, man, I like that movie.
Nobody picked the dude for their number one.
No, they didn't. No, Lebowski.
No,
right.
Big Lebowski.
Well, that's kind of surprising.
That's definitely a stoner film.
Yeah, that's surprising. Anything by Tim Burton in the 90s, I felt like I was stoned watching. Does that count? Edward Scissorhands.
He's definitely not sober.
Could you imagine Edward Scissorhands trying to roll a joint?
Oh my!
How pissed off would he be? He just keeps.
Oh, but he could break up those 90 bricks real well. Kids these days, they have it so easy. They get this nice stuff.
He makes a dinosaur out of a pallet of bricks. Like, damn, Edward. That's pretty good. But yeah, I guess, I'm going to go ahead and count Edward Scissorhands as my number one stoner flick. That settles it. But I don't know. I mean, there's always so many that.
Half Baked.
Oh
Dave
my
Chappelle.
God!
Dave
How did that
Chappelle,
not fall in
Half-Baked.
anybody's list? Of course.
Yeah.
Anything with Chappelle, his stand-up count.
Stoned Age.
Oh my God! With the hippies from I always remember that cover art of the Stoned Age where it looked like Brendan Fraser. Yeah, they're on the car, and there's that like desert landscape in the back. I always thought that was like Brendan Fraser on that movie, but it's just basically like them ripping off Airheads or something like that. But
well, I mean, like Brendan Fraser movies from the 90s, like Biodome and
or Pauly Shore,
Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I mean he's
son-in-law.
He's got that kind of well, I guess he's more like hippie stuff, which, it's kind of toiling the same lines here, but.
Oh, yeah, those were definitely stoner flicks.
All right. So, I guess, Chris.
Well, Steven, I'm sorry.
No.
Last one. And I'm surprised you didn't put this as an honorable mention, but Halloween.
That would be Erica's pick if she was
Shout
on.
out to Erica.
Erica,
scary movie.
Yeah. Oh, right. Ghostface getting he gets so high, his whole face changes. Oh man. They're making a new scary movie. Did somebody? I think somebody posted that on our Fanatics page.
That, yep.
And I was like, oh my god! And they were like, oh, I think it was Trevor. I think it was Trevor Alonzo who posted something about why are they making another scary movie? And I was thinking, well, they did make 2 new Scream movies, so
because it's amazing,
ripe for the pickings, But all right, Chris, so go ahead and round us off our number 1 picks.
All right, my number 1, I'm going to my TV roots, and I'm picking the TV show Weeds. Aired from 2005 to 2012. Mary Louise Parker, Hunter Parrish, Alexander Gold, Kevin Nielsen. Man, this show is so freaking good.
So good. Like, undeniably good.
Like, it's one of those, like, when I started it late on. I think it was already like 4 or 5 seasons deep. And when I started it, I was like, we'll give it a shot. Oh, man, it was one of those that it was just binge. And
it hooks you.
Oh, it hooks you hard. Like, and it's so good. Gosh, it's so good. If you haven't seen it, the weed is a big part of the story and everything, but the drama, it's more of a drama series that deals with weed and all that stuff. But oh man, it is so good. Have you seen it, Steven? Have you watched it?
I have not. Never got around to it.
You're definitely fired after this episode.
It's in the queue.
It's in the queue, baby.
It's right there with the Nola.
But I don't.
He's gonna finish. He's gonna start this one when he finishes X-Files.
That's true. Did you know? I know we should have mentioned this earlier, but I read a rumor that they've got 1 more season of X-Files coming. So I'm going to go ahead and binge the last 4, and then wait for the next season to come out. But as far as weeds go, I never saw it, but I remembered when it came out, and it was kind of riding on the coattails of those anti-hero shows where they were becoming the main character, like Breaking Bad, Dexter, these type of characters. And they were like, well, here's Mary Louise Parker as a woman doing it. Like, that was, pretty empowering for that particular genre, because now a woman's in charge. Now she's the one doing the business. And I always wanted to. I always heard it was really good, and I heard she's really good in it. She's definitely playing against type, because Mary Louise Parker was never really known for playing these more type of roles like that. But I don't know. Especially after rewatching Fried Green Tomatoes the other day, you wouldn't think that she would be the queen pin of a drug empire, But I heard I think I saw it streaming on Showtime. Maybe it was on Paramount Plus or something. I don't know, but yeah, that would definitely be one to watch.
It's good, man. And just like any series that runs probably too long, you get into the later seasons and it's like, maybe they should have stopped a couple seasons back.
Yeah.
But the final season, like, really closes it off really well. And it's good. So definitely have to watch the entirety. But if you've never watched Weeds, go find it and go binge the shit out of it.
Sounds good. I'll go ahead and do my number 1 since Donald's our guest. We can let him close on his number 1. So my number 1 pick is the Adam Sandler produced Grandma's Boy. I love this movie. It's about a bunch of stoners developing video games. I mean, what are you going to do? Just besides being entertained. And then the scene where they have that rager at his grandma's house, his grandma thinks it's herbal tea, drinks it, and she gets hammered. I mean, it's just so wholesome. I love it. Reminds me of my grandma. But it's just such a funny movie. And I think that movie still holds up today in terms of just how funny it is. I mean, yeah, it doesn't hold up in content, because there's a lot of very offensive stuff by today's standards. But I mean, they have a strand called Frankenstein, where you get so blitzed that you start walking around like Frankenstein. Like, that's classic stuff. And
Mhm.
Grandma's Boy, so funny, and I could watch it at any point, whether or not I'm partaking or not, due to medical reasons, of course. But yes, my number one pick is Grandma's Boy.
I didn't know you had cataracts, Steven.
Dude, the eye,
it's
man.
glaucoma, and I do.
that was what was helping the eye, Chris. That's why my eye's healing now.
Okay.
Thank
Gotcha,
you.
Gotcha.
Jeez. All right,
Sorry.
Donald. So you're number one, sir.
Hard to follow up Grandma's Boy. Great stuff. I gotta go with, like, I don't know, the epitome of stoner films. I gotta go to Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
And I think
all of them.
The second part of the trilogy,
Yeah.
number 2, next movie, and I mean, there's 2 reasons for putting it in my number 1. I mean, Cheech and Chong's got to be on the list somewhere. You can't weed
100%.
movies without Cheech and Chong.
Mhm.
But if you're watching the trilogy and you get done with Up in Smoke and you're been smoking, you're like, man, what movie's next? Oh, next movie.
Poetry.
Definitely.
They definitely knew their target audience, and God, that movie, all of those movies are hilarious, but next movie, so good.
It would have been hilarious if each of us had a Cheech and Chong movie in our picks. I'll take Up in Smoke. Thank you.
Nice dreams for me, please.
Oh, man. That is fun. I mean, it's kind of by extension, like, with Tommy Chong showing up in that 70s show. I guess that 70s show should have been mentioned. I mean, they don't even say the word.
Great honorable mention.
They don't even say weed or marijuana in that show, but the circle,
you know what they're doing in the basement.
The circle spin cam is exactly that. And it's just so funny that, I mean, it's kind of brilliant in terms of its writing that they never even mention it. But, Tommy Chong showing up, and he's got one of the best lines in that show, in that 70s show. He's like, yeah, man, I met God on a bus one time. He told me the meaning of life and gave me a pizza. And they were like, well, what was the meaning of life? He's like, I don't know, but it was a really good pizza. And it's just like, man, but Cheech and Chong, man.
Tommy Chong has so many good lines.
Yeah, it was so good. But those movies though, those were classics. And
classics.
It's kind of funny how Cheech Marin went on to have, I mean, I don't know what I mean, I guess there is a difference, but it's just like odd how he went on to have such a long-standing career in so many different properties, movies and TV.
Oh, yeah.
Where Tommy Chong
was that Nash Bridges?
Yeah, he was on that. He was in every Robert Rodriguez movie ever made, and it's just like in prominent roles in those. Hell, and From Dusk Till Dawn, he had like 4 roles in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I think that's pretty crazy that he went on to have a career like that, where Tommy Chong, maybe it was by choice, you never know, but
Tommy Chong just wanted to get high, bro.
Right? He couldn't focus.
He made enough money to buy weed for the rest of his life, and he was good.
Tommy Chong did do National Lampoon's Senior Trip. How could I ever forget?
How could you comedy
forget class? That? But
icon.
So you said Cheech and Chong next movie specifically was your number 1. Okay.
Next movie, the second in their trilogy, came out in 1980. It was the first time that Paul Reubens was in a film as Pee Wee Herman.
Wow, yeah.
And like there's a great Tommy Chong line, of course, always, where he's talking to Pee Wee and he's like, man, if you had 2 brains, first one would die of loneliness, man.
Man, there's so many stupid people I want to tell that to. I mean, they wouldn't get it, obviously, but damn, that's good. Man, that's I mean, I think it's okay to pull, one of my moves in terms of just collectively grouping one whole franchise
100%.
together, and just by saying Cheech and Chong as your number 1 is just, that's pretty sufficient. I think that's a solid choice, that trilogy.
And they are actually cashing in again today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
They have
they're
their
doing
own.
some of the legal marijuana trade
Yep.
and stock training and
Brilliant.
stuff.
Brilliant.
And
Whoever their sales manager, marketer, agent is, like, that's just such a brilliant idea to do. I mean, that's easy cash right there, you know?
Right?
Yeah, I've been getting ads on my social medias for their new gummies.
I wonder
I
why.
mean, come on. Cheech and Chong gummies. Like,
Yeah.
that's perfect marketing. Know your audience.
That's man, Chris, don't they make like a sauce, like a barbecue sauce or something? I think I saw like a hot sauce. I don't know.
I
I'll have to
think
look it up.
so.
You gotta
Oh,
use it.
probably. They have to.
Man, that's so good. You smoke dog way?
God, that movie, they meet like aliens and they just like cruising around in California with a big bag of weed and a Ferrari and shit. Like, God damn. All of those movies are great. Nice
Yeah.
Dreams, where they've got the ice cream truck and Cheech is teaching Chong Spanish and stuff. It's hilarious.
I always, again, as a kid, not that I was watching it with my dad, but I mean, yeah, I was. I was like, Chong's a weird Mexican name. My dad's like, he's not Mexican. So I'm like, oh, okay. Cheech is though, right? He's like, yeah, he's one of us. I'm like,
That's your Uncle Cheech.
I was like, cool. Hell yeah.
Mm.
Well, on that note, I guess, Chris, do your diligence, sir, and send us home.
All right. We're coming down off of this very amazing episode. Donald, again, thank you for coming on the show, man. We've got to do this more than once a year, my friend. And I think
Absolutely, I agree. These are always a great time.
I know the
Both times
next
I've done it.
one, he needs to come on, Stephen. We've been putting this topic off for a while. And our favorite animes.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, we were talking about
and voiceover,
voice,
like, or
voice.
voice work, yeah. Or,
and I think my confusion was like, is this somebody famous who is known for doing voice work, like a James Earl Jones,
Mhm.
or is it somebody that is just known for voice work, but they've made a good name for themselves?
I think it's more. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, I think it's more of the people that not necessarily so famous, but you can recognize those voices as soon as you hear them.
Right.
Like a lot of people I know are still very baffled that Bart Simpson's voiceover is a girl.
It's a girl. A lot of teenage boys are girls, actually.
So that I think, there's a couple of episodes that we can have Donald on still.
I mean, I could tell you my number one right now.
No,
well, don't do it right now. Save it for the spread week or whatever it was.
Anyone our age would recognize his voice instantly because he's been doing it for 40 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good teaser.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. All right, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the listeners every time. So if you have, since you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time that we drop a new episode. We've been doing them weekly, so you make sure you want to listen in on every week's episode. And also, since you're wherever you're listening to it, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, go ahead and leave us a review. We'd really, really love it. 5 stars would be great. If you think we're worthy of 5 stars, which we are 100%. Don't base that off of tonight's show, but we are.
Or maybe you should.
Oh yeah, it was a great episode. Anyway, leave us a review. It definitely helps us get seen a little bit more in the podcast world. And then on to the social media world, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, any of those, just look for the Screen Addicts podcast and look for our cover art. That is us. Nobody has copied us yet. We ain't that famous yet. And then go back to Facebook and then request to be in our private group called the Screen Addicts Fanatics. That is where we are most active. Everybody in that group always dropping trailers and movie news and TV news and all the fun stuff. So go and be a part of our wonderful, wonderful group over there, the Screen Addicts Fanatics. Also, quick plug for my co-host's new show, Real Problems, REEL Problems. If you ever wanted to know about the craziness of behind the scenes of movie sets and stuff like that, this is definitely one you're going to want to listen to. He does a deep dive into all the things that can go wrong or went wrong on movie sets. Have you done TV sets as well, Steven?
You know, I was thinking about perhaps expanding a little bit, probably a little further on down the road. But yeah, as I was doing research for some of these movies, I come to find out that there was a lot of issues that have taken place on TV production sets as well. I mean, I kind of look at it as well. A real shot shoots movies, shoots TV. So yeah, I think I'm going to be expanding it to a couple of episodes of television as well, because man, there's been some crazy shit too.
Yeah, yep. So definitely,
you could base seasons around that. Like season 1's all movies, season 2's all TV. Then you just alternate back and forth.
Definitely something I'm thinking of doing.
So go give that a follow. Subscribe to that podcast. Steven, you're on all platforms as well? Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure.
And it's really a good show. I've listened to probably more episodes of it than I have of this one.
Well, that's hell of an endorsement.
My podcast feed is so full of other things. Like I catch parts of this show every once in a while, but
so this is Donald's last time on the show.
Until next week when Steve gets fired and I become the new co-host.
I know. I was like, guys, I'm doing Real Problems full time. Let me allow you to introduce you to the new co-host, Donald.
Great. Anyway,
Chris's cadence is like shit.
Anyways, yeah, he's like, you guys totally killed my outro. What the crap?
Done.
Well, you know, I was. Oh, sorry, Chris. Damn it. I'm so sorry. Well, I was going to say, you know, Donald also, you know, you can plug whatever you want to at this point. You could start with plugging the Screen Addicts podcast.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, if you're already listening to this podcast, try listening to other episodes of this podcast. I recommend them.
The couple that I've listened to.
Yeah, and, you know, the few hundred or so. God, y'all have been doing this for so long. There are just so many episodes.
Yeah.
You know, I try to every once in a while go back and listen to some of the older stuff, and I'm
Don't
like,
do that.
God, there's so many episodes.
Don't do that.
Well, you know, it's also one of those things too where people have asked me that they're like, oh, well, I'd like to hear your show. What would you suggest is a good way to start? I said, last week, I don't know. I mean, because it's like you go all the way back to the beginning, and it's just such a different show in terms of just the technology that we use, just the sound. I mean, Jeremy's there. I mean, I will say though that the early episodes with Jeremy, it was good having him. Like, there's a certain camaraderie there that, you know, me and Chris still maintain that, but with Jeremy there, it's kind of like you here with us tonight. There's a very good, you know, familiarity there between all of us. We all know each other. We all have just crazy senses of humor, and I think it just meshes well in that sense. And that's kind of what me and Chris were afraid of whenever Jeremy had to step aside from the show, because I mean, we really didn't want him to, obviously, and if we could have worked it out, we would have. But he really brought, man, let me tell you, he would have just shined bright tonight on this episode.
Oh yeah,
my man, he does his monthly Colorado runs, and he's ready.
A specialist.
He's the gold medalist of this particular event.
He would have been a much better guest than
No. That's not what I'm saying. But
hell yeah, he would have.
Actually, his picks probably wouldn't have, and he probably wouldn't have been able to speak as eloquently as you have, or intelligently for that matter. But you know,
Jeremy reviews,
man,
that's good. I watched it.
Did you watch anything last week, Jeremy? He's like, yeah, that's great, man. Okay, so he's like, you damn right I did. I'm like,
yeah, man, my eyes were open at least twice last week. I definitely saw something.
I watched this show with one eye open 100%. But anyway, sorry, Chris.
It's all right.
It's all right.
All right, so we're done. Yes. Okay. Cool.
No,
we're not.
Donald
okay.
has to plug his.
I've got to
Sorry.
plug.
I know,
I'll keep
I'm
my
about to.
plug
Hold on.
short.
Hold on.
Christ
Let
alive.
me do this 1 second. All right. So listen to Real Problems. Subscribe to that show, and then Donald, my friend, let the people know what you are up to, what you are doing, and where they can find you.
Yeah, so first, let's make sure we don't edit anything in this episode. It all goes in.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Probably the easiest is just my website, www.donaldwsears.com. Links to all the socials, contact information, everything's there. Some demos, some samples. I did just recently hire someone to redo my website because I built it originally and I am not a web designer, so we're lucky that it works. But in the coming months, it's going to go through some changes, get a little bit of a refresh. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way. And if you know me, my phone number hasn't changed in 20 years, so you can catch me that way.
Nice. Well, I think that does it.
No, Boyd, your show, your other show, sir.
Shh, we don't talk
okay, I was proud of you. I was listening to the last episode.
No. Guys, I also have another show on top of the many other things that I do, just like these other two gentlemen, keeping busy for sure. But my other show is definitely a little more focused on food and the culinary world here in the Texas Panhandle. I have 2 episodes out right now. I interviewed a couple of really awesome gentlemen that I know through barbecue world. So go give that a listen. It's called Boyd's Backyard Podcast. So that's on all major platforms as well. Now I think that's it.
That's it. We're done.
That's it. 30 minutes worth of plugs. It's great.
Yeah. We kept it short and sweet this week.
We did.
I'd like to plug the McDonald's at the end of the street.
But not the White Castle.
No. I got that 40-piece chicken nugget meal on my brain.
Hey, you know how we can lose a lot of listeners right now and start a debate between Whataburger and In-N-Out?
Oh my God. There is no debate. Personally.
It's Whataburger.
Whataburger, yeah.
It's Whataburger.
I know. I mean, us three are on the same page.
That menu is all killer, no filler. Like, you can't go wrong.
We'll put a poll up.
Get the green chili double and be a happy man.
Or the patty melts.
Or the honey butter chicken biscuit.
The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich.
Oh, man, that patty melt. It's all there.
Cool. Let's go wait 30 minutes in line right now.
Yes, at least 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours.
This is like White Castle.
All right. So I guess that is it. So for me, good night.
Adios, amigos.
Have a good one.